the R.T.M. to order. This is our annual budget meeting. Can the town clerk please do the roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Adams?
Here.
Bailey?
Here.
Baker? Burrell? I said Baker. Is Baker here? Didn't see her. Burrell? Okay. Casper?
Here.
Cassieri?
Here.
Chase?
Here.
Cop?
Here.
Crocker Hubbard? Dean Shinbrot?
Here.
Fitzgerald?
Here.
Blacks? Fortner?
Here.
Foster? Brickman?
Here.
Gothier? David? David?
He's not here tonight.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if maybe I was gonna ask if you guys were in caucus still or something. Okay, all right, so Gothier Lauren?
Here.
Gustafson?
Here.
Hanline?
Here.
Hanscom?
Here.
Jacome?
Here.
Jones?
Here.
Towski? Merritt?
Here.
Perry? I saw her.
Here. Here.
Yay, yay, yay. Kristen Powers?
Here.
Sean Powers?
Here.
Pacino?
Here.
Ray?
Here.
Richards?
Here.
Rusk? Jill? Rusk? Jason?
Here.
Somebody should turn off their background. I'm getting feedback. Starkley? Stevenson?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
Washington? I know you're here. I know she's here. Oh,
Here.
yeah, okay. Wells?
Here.
Whitehouse?
Here.
Whitney?
Here.
And Evan.
Here.
That's
And
32.
Representative Baker is here too now.
Okay, that's
Gene
30.
Baker is here.
Thank you, Jean. That's 33.
And moderator, Representative Flax wanted me to let you know that he is on his way. He'll be in soon.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
he sent me an email to that effect, so I was going to announce that. But first of all, I guess I could announce that. I did receive a message from Representative Flax that he would be late, and Representative Katowski may be late, and Representative Watson is not able to be with us tonight. We send healing thoughts to Representative Watson, and that's that for now. And I apologize if other people have contacted me. Those are the ones I have on my sticky. So the next item on our agenda is a moment of silence. And I'd like to ask us all to, just reflect on the fact that this is our second budget meeting that we're held virtually due to the COVID pandemic. Please hold all those who are suffering or have lost a loved one in our hearts and thoughts. Thank you. Representative Lauren Gothier, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag
of the United
United
States of
States
America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yeah, we're not ready for prime time yet, but it's good. All good. So thank you. I want to call this meeting to order with resolution 2021-312-2, resolution setting the R.T.M. annual meeting date on FYE 2022 town budget. Whereas section 9.3.1 of the Groton Town Charter requires that the town council determine the date for the annual budget meeting of the representative town meeting, now therefore it be resolved that the annual budget meeting of the representative town meeting be held on Thursday, April 29th at 7 p.m. during a virtual meeting shown on GMTV and YouTube video. So that brings us to that. I also wanted to note that unfortunately, citizens petitions isn't on this. I do want to add citizens petitions or public comments to our next meeting on Monday the 6th. So I'm inviting the public to speak at that point. And I do want to just note that I did receive a phone call today from Mr. Frank Bolin of 1 Scott Lane in Mystic, who urged the R.T.M. to pass the resolution dealing with climate change and a proposal to hire a sustainability and resilience coordinator for the town. And I believe I received another email to that effect from individual in District 2. If anyone else has received feedback from residents, constituents in your districts or in the town, please feel free to share them at this moment. Okay, seeing none, we'll.
Madam Moderator,
Yes.
we
Oh,
did get quite a
Representative Lauren Gauthier.
Yes, I received 3 letters from members of the Groton Public Library Board of Directors in support of their budget, or their budget request.
From the Groton Public Library?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Moderator?
Yep, Representative Fortner.
Thank you. I received 8 emails in support of the position for the resilience, I know it's a long, resilience manager and sustainability.
Thank you. Anyone else? So I just want to remind us to use our little hand signals and then also to take them down when we're done. So Representative Gustafson?
Yes, I received several emails in regards to the sustainability position for the climate change.
Thank you.
Madam Moderator, I'm sorry to interrupt, but FOI rules say if you receive a communication from a citizen, you have to state their name and the subject. You don't have to give an address, but you just say their name and the subject. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was the address. That's why I gave mine. But okay, as a reminder for other R.T.M. members, please see if you can give us their name if you have it, and their address, or at least the topic.
We can't require the address.
Okay.
Sorry to keep interrupting. We can't require the address. Of course, lots of people give them to us. But we do need to know who the communication came from and what the subject was.
Okay. Representative Gustafson, did you want to put your hand down or would you like to speak again? And okay.
I'm going to put it down.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. I lowered it for you. And Representative Gauthier, did you want to speak again?
Yes, would you like me to include the names into the record of the 3 support letters I received?
Please. Yes, that would be great.
The first one was from Barbara Nagy, Groton Public Library Board of Directors, Marie Shaw, Groton Public Library Board Chair, and Hallie Keeler, also in support of the Groton Public Library.
Thank you. Representative Jones?
Are we supposed to also, if we have a communication from an R.T.M. member, does that count the same as coming from a citizen?
Sure.
I received an email today from Representative Fortner on the bathroom project at Sutton Park.
Thank you. Any other members wish to share correspondence? No. Before we get into our committee reports, I did want to query the town manager. Now that the town council has finished its review of the budget, could you give us an update on where that budget is at and what kind of tax increase it looks like it will entail?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Kind of weird in the age of Zoom being in a suit jacket, but I do have jeans on underneath though, so you know. My original, the original requested budget through all requests was about 140,300,000. My budget to the council was 138,647,317. That was about a 6.3% increase from the 21 budget. The council budget, they reduced about 910,000 off of the budget, so it's at 137,736,367. That's a 5.6% increase, or 7.28 million increase from the 21 budget. They're looking at using 2,851,000 of unassigned fund balance. They would end up having a 3.5% increase in the mill rate. Our current mill rate is 25.11. That would go up then by 0.88 mils to 25.99. In terms of, and just as a reminder, the average mill rate in our immediate vicinity is 29.83. We're the second lowest. And even with that change, we'll continue to be the second lowest. In terms of the effect on property taxes, with the number the council used, with that fund balance, if you had a home assessed at 100,000, there'd be about a tax increase of about $88. So keep doing the multiples. $200,000 assessed value would be $176. $300,000 assessed house would be $264, and $400,000 house would be $352.
Thank you. Could you just repeat the percent increase that 137,000 is? I kind of missed it.
Sure. It's a 5.6% increase.
Did you say that your budget was a 3.6% increase? I must have got that one wrong.
6.3.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And as a reminder, we're now at we just issued our third bond out of 5 for Groton 2020 plan. So about 5.1 million of this budget is the 3 issuances so far, which is about 1.38 mils. There's 2 issuances to go. So by the time those are done over the next 2 years, that's about 2 mils of our mill rate will be for the school.
Got it. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Town Manager Burt before we get into the budget? Representative Richards?
Thank you, Moderator Evan. Could you just restate what the town council is planning to use for fund balance? It just went a little quick for me to get all the numbers.
Sure, the same amount I recommended, which is 2,851,000. We currently have a 20% fund balance. That would bring us to 18%.
Thank you.
Representative Whitehouse?
Is there a reason why we're waiting to issue the other bonds until later? I'm imagining we're not spending it yet, but
well, it's in order to save. Sorry,
I was thinking with interest rates being low as they can go, I'm pretty sure. Would it make sense to accelerate that, or does that have to wait for some reason?
Cindy works with Cindy Landry, the finance director, works with our bond counsel, or our finance person for bonding. Part of it is the final one, especially has to wait till it's all done so you actually know what you spent of it, because we might not bond for the full amount. Last I heard, we were several million under budget, so we won't bond for all of it. But part of it is doing it as we go along, having a timeout, because there is extra years worth of, if you do it a year early, you've got an extra year's worth of interest. So we rely on our financial people with the bonding to guide us on that.
Okay, so we want to make sure there were financial people planning it, and it wasn't just
it's not town staff.
Momentum.
it's not just us.
All right, thank you.
Representative Powers? Representative Powers?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Okay, I think this information will be found on page 12. Is that correct, John? In our budget books? I think that's where the numbers we said.
Well, the council number wouldn't be in there yet.
Okay.
I'm sure you've received handouts from the clerk's office that has that, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be in the actual budget book yet.
Right,
That's solely what I proposed.
right, and then on page 11, it shows the mill rates in the different areas. Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
Thank you. Any other questions of the town manager? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to ask Chair Washington, of the chair of the Finance Committee, if she would like to give her minutes of the Finance Committee meeting. And the way, just for everyone here to understand this, is that she is going to give the minutes sequentially. So for one account at a time, we're going to begin with account, let's see, fine. I believe 1012 Human Resources on page 83. So she'll start with that one. And we'll go through the agenda for tonight, account by account. And then we will recess at that point. And when we take the Finance Committee accounts on Monday, or actually it looks like Thursday, May 6th, maybe at that point, actually there's still more finance on the 20th. But at that point, then we will vote on those minutes, okay? But I think this is a better way to be able to have those minutes in our mind as we move into debating various accounts or discussing various accounts. Again, we can have a main motion on the floor and then two amendments to that, and we will vote on the third amendment first and then work in sequential order. Backwards, we can never have more than three or these two amendments on the floor to the first motion. Okay, so I want to ask everyone to just, be respectful of each other, of town staff, of, the public that may come and testify, just to get us on the same page. And anyway, Representative Washington, if you want to start us off, that would be phenomenal.
Okay, good evening. My colleagues on the Finance Committee are Representative Kathy Chase, Representative Chase Foster, Representative Clarence Casper, Representative Bruce Flax, and Representative Roseanne Kontowski, and Representative Sean Foster. The first account, like Moderator Eben said, was account number 1012, Human Resources, on page 83. Representative Chase made a motion to approve $371,962, seconded by Representative Foster. Discussion. Human Resources Director Robert Zagami told committee members that personnel services increased by $9,412 and operating expenses were down $10,132. Account number 5281, Occupational Health, for $8,000 to purchase PPE products was eliminated by the town council. These items are now purchased through grant funding. Things are winding down, so the need for these products is not as much. There's $3,000 in this budget for replacement of town hall shredder and $17,500 for training. Training was canceled in FYE 2020-2021 or free online. Vote to approve $371,962 for account number 1012 passed unanimously with Representatives Foster, Casper, Chase, and Washington voting.
Thank you. Do you have a motion to put on the floor?
Yes, I do. I'd like to make a motion to approve $371,962 for account number 1012, Human Resources.
Is there a second?
Adams.
I think Representative Adams seconded.
I got
Yes,
that.
I
Thank
did.
you. So we have a motion on the floor for account 1012 in the amount of $371,962 made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Adams. And I'll just note that at least the, maybe I'm looking at the wrong form, sorry. The forms that I have have that number in error for what the R.T.M. Committee voted on, and for also the town council. So I don't have that number. So just, I don't know, maybe I have so many forms, but that I thought was the newest one that I just got today. So it should be, everyone should be on the same page as Representative Washington just told us that there was an $8,000 cut to that for PPE. I will open that up for discussion, and I see Representative Powers has his hand up.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just for a note, my wife's maiden name was Foster and mine's Powers, and Beverly changed my name to my wife's maiden name. So I just want that corrected. When she announced all the people on the Finance Committee, she announced me as Sean Foster, which we kind of got a chuckle at. But I agree with what Beverly said. The amount of money that was there was the right number, I thought, from what we had on paper. So that's the only thing I had to say.
Yeah, that is the right number.
Yeah, I was at the meeting when you did it. So, and I was at the town council when they did it as well. So it is. Does everyone else have a bigger number in there? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
The moderator?
Yeah, because
as I explained earlier, that I had a problem with corruption of my Excel.
No, I know. I'm just wanting everyone to be on the same
none of these
page.
numbers have been verified.
That's fine. I just wanted people to be on the same page, that we have a lower. Representative Richards?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Sorry if I just want to clarify what you were just talking about. In the budget book and other places in the Excel spreadsheets, I see 379,962. Are you saying that this was a different number that we're voting on now, or I should
That's correct. The motion is for $371,962, and it was because there was a line item in the budget for PPE purchase, protective personal equipment, which was covered by a grant. We do have Mr. Zagami here who could speak to this if you would like, or Mr. Burt. You're on mute, Representative Washington.
Okay. Kate, account number 5281, occupational health, was eliminated by the town council because it was going to be used to purchase PPE products. And they're going to purchase those products through a grant. So they eliminated that $8,000. So you subtract that $8,000 from the $379,962. That's how we came up with the number.
Okay, I'm confused because I thought I was just told that the 379,962 is the number that we're moving right now. But now you're saying it's $8,000 less than that?
Yeah, the motion on the floor is for $371,962. And I'm sorry that we don't have my little old-fashioned magic marker and clipboard so everyone could see that.
Okay, I got it. Thank you very much for clarifying.
Is there any questions beyond that change? Does anyone want to speak to the number? Do we want to hear more information from Mr. Zagami? Right, seeing none, we do have a motion on the floor made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Adams, for account 1012 in the amount of $371,962. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. Thank you.
It's 33 voting, or do we, excuse me, 30, I'm sorry. Make sure we have the right amount of people here. We have 33.
That's what you told me before.
Yeah, has anybody else come in? Did anyone else sneak in after we took the roll? Hello? Because we can't tell, you can't see you. Okay, 33 then.
Do you have Baker on there?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So the next item on our agenda is account 1070, and this is on page 88. Representative Chair Washington, would you like to lead us off on that?
Okay. Account 1070, insurance and claims, page 88. Representative Chase made a motion to approve $766,064, seconded by Representative Forster. Discussion. Mr. Zugami stated that personnel services increased by $7,000 and operating expenses by $68,483. In account number 10700, general liability, there is an increase of $17,152 because builders risk policy went to town property policy in liability insurance. New schools will cause a 15% increase in liability insurance. Motor vehicle and physical damage increased by 5% due to the very high awards given out in accidents now. Mr. Zugami explained that account number 10705, administration and claim payments, is reserved for claims that have up to 25,000 deductibles. He stated that it is hard to determine how much funding is needed in this account. If we did not have money in this line item, we would have to ask for money from contingency or make a fourth quarter transfer. The motion to approve $766,064 passed unanimously with Representatives Chase, Forster, Casper, and Washington voting. I make a motion to approve $766,064 for account number 1070, insurance and claims.
Second. Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor from Representative Washington for $766,064 for account 1070, insurance and claims, and that was seconded by Representative Chase. Is there any discussion on that motion? Any questions for Mr. Zagami on it? Or Mr. Burt? I have one I'll ask. Seems like we should ask a question here or there. Representative, Mr. Zagami or Mr. Burt, if you could just, I did hear the part about high awards are now being given out for accidents, and I just wanted to ask if there were more accidents than usual that were occurring, or if it was just that those accidents that were occurring are being awarded more money.
Well, basically what we're seeing is that we're really in one big pool. But when it comes down to accidents being, getting some of these very high awards, it's not actually us at all. We've seen some of these accidents in Connecticut getting up to $10 million in an auto accident, and et cetera. So it's the insurance that has us, whether we like to admit it or not, into a pool.
Thank you. Representative Jean Shinbrat. Representative Jean Shinbrat, you're on mute.
Hold on.
We can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry about that. My computer's not cooperating. I just was wondering why the insurance premium is 15% higher with the new schools.
It's actually higher because of the 2 schools being added in that weren't previously there. Once all 3 schools are in there, it'll be added in there.
So it'll drop down when we close the other schools.
that's the number you'll see, but as all insurances every year go, we get the estimates now, and by the time usually that the budget's adopted, you'll usually see a more reasonable number. Hopefully, I'll keep working it.
Okay, I thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we do have a motion on the floor for account 1070, insurance and claims. That was made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Chase, in the amount of $766,064. Excuse me. All in favor of that amount, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is account 1071, self-funded plans on page 92. Chair Washington, would you like to give us your minutes on that?
Yes. Okay, Representative Chase made a motion. Is everybody on that page, 92? Okay. Representative Chase made a motion to move $10,810,103, seconded by Representative Foster. Discussion. Mr. Zugami explained that this account involves employee benefits such as retiree health benefits, pensions, workmen's compensation, and life insurance. The town continues to move and encourages retirees enrolled in the self-funded plan to fully insured health plan alternatives. They are trying to get active employees enrolled on Medicare on their 65th birthday. The town requires retired people who reach the age of 65 to go on Medicare. He stated that the town contributes funds for employee HSA accounts, $2,000 for married couples, $4,000 for family policies, and $1,000 for single policies. The motion to approve $10,810,103 passed unanimously with Representative Powers, Foster, Casper, Chase, and Washington voting. I've moved $10,810,103 for account 1071 self-funded plans.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor for account 1071 self-funded plans made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Powers, in the amount, and I want to note, this is different than the little chart that we received today, in the amount of $10,810,103. Okay, so the chart is in error, and it's been made and seconded. Representative Cassieri?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I was just wondering if this was the town council's number and why the difference in the spreadsheet.
Mr. Burt, could you speak to that?
Sure. Yes. It was actually an error. It's just in the original itself. If you look on page 96, the first one under retirement on the right under manager number says 3.8 million roughly. That actually should have been just under, it should have been 3,494,500. Once you make that change, this is what the new total is at that 10,810,103. So it's just a correction, no change.
Thank you, Mr.
Representative Richards?
That answered my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Representative Fortner?
I thank you, Madam Moderator. I just was hoping that I listened to this meeting, and there was a mention of $327,000 per year that's being paid toward the health deficit in the health plan of some type. for the next 10 years. And I was just hoping anybody who hadn't listened to that meeting, if we could elaborate, inform everybody about what that $327,000 was going towards.
Over the years, the healthcare fund has gone into basically all fund balance has been used up there. It's been mentioned by Cindy to the council and R.T.M during budget seasons the last 2 years. The hope though was let's wait a little while, see if things bounce back, have less claims, that type of thing. But it's not bouncing back. So we're getting on a 10-year plan to pay off the deficit, which is $337,000 per year for 10 years. And things could change along the way, of course, too. That's the current plan. You have to see what happens with fund balance every year.
Thank you, John.
Representative Frickman?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I just had a question for, I know Representative Washington mentioned that the town encourages people to go on the state plan or Medicaid after 65, but are we still covering health insurance for people after they retire?
No.
Mr. Burt?
Bob is probably the better one on this, but through all the old contracts, it is required.
Okay.
That's where our OPEB is, but we're trying to, I think we have one contract currently, one group that we've weeded that out on. So we're trying to work our way that way, plus get them to go on that other coverage, which is much cheaper. It's same level of benefit, but much cheaper. So I think Bob's got something like, I forget, Bob, can you say how many people, what percent you've actually had already converted for the existing retirees?
Yeah, it's a very small percent right now. It's there's only about 40 or 50 of the retirees that have actually signed up for that Plan F of Medicare. And what that does basically is to give them a almost a PPO type as opposed to high deductible health plan. So that would actually give them an opportunity to not pay more, but for us to not pay more because we have a more succinct number all the time when we're getting billed for this. So if the number wouldn't be going up and down like it does now.
Right. So yeah. Okay. So that clarifies because I was just wondering. I thought we had negotiated all those out. So okay, those are just remaining people from the past negotiations. That's fine. Thank you.
Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I would just like, this doesn't apply to this this particular cost center, but I would like everyone to keep that in mind when we get to the school budget, because they've reduced their health center, cost center by over $800,000. They did say in the finance committee that they will not have to pay them that back. And as you can see, it's very difficult to pay it back. So I'd like everyone to keep that in mind and hold them to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we have a motion on the floor for account 1071, self-funded plans in the amount of $10,810,103 made by Representative Washington and seconded by Representative Sean Powers. All in favor of that, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. Thank
I
you.
had an extension.
Oh, who is that? Which representative abstained? Madam Clerk, did you see which member abstained?
No, but when you do abstain or vote no, please state your name. I might have been Representative Bailey, but he hasn't responded to you.
Representative Bailey, did you abstain?
It was not me.
No, thank you. Which member abstained? I heard an abstention, but we need to know your name because I have like a million squares in front of me. I can't tell. You're not going to be on the record as abstaining if you don't say your name. Just saying.
I had a little trouble unmuting myself, so maybe that came out as
as abstaining, I did vote in favor of this.
You voted in favor? Thank you. All right, maybe there were no abstentions. Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Okay, the next account is account number 1005, Town Clerk, on page 63. Representative Chase made a motion to approve $333,800, seconded by Representative Powers. Discussion. Town Clerk McCalsha stated that her expenses are statutorily for preservation of land and vital records. Special paper has to be used, and the cost of the paper increases every year. There is an increase in salaries due to union contracts and step raises and step increases. Town clerk has budgeted for one election and one referendum just in case. Revenues have exceeded expectations this fiscal year due to boom in real estate. Representative Chase inquired about line item 5230, payments/contributions. Town Clerk McCalsha responded that this is money we pay other towns for records that belong to us. Representative Chase asked how many assistant town clerks. The answer was 4. All the town clerk's employees are assistant town clerks. Representative Katowski moved an amended motion of $330,857, seconded by Representative Chase. Representative Katowski stated, same reasoning as before, because we don't know if we will be raising taxes or using fund balance. She is not in favor of raising taxes this year. Representative Chase asked about how the COVID money was spent. In the town clerk's office, COVID money was spent for election day and mailing absentee ballots. Director Landry stated that most of the COVID money was spent outside of what was budgeted for and had to spend due to COVID. Most of the money was reimbursement for money spent. No further discussion. The vote on the amendment of $330,857 failed, with 1 in favor, Representative Katowski, and 6 opposed, Representatives Casper, Chase, Flax, Forster, Powers, and Washington. The vote on main motion of $333,800 passed with 6 in favor, Representative Washington, Powers, Forster, Flax, Chase, and Casper, and 1 opposed, Representative Katowski. So I'd like to make a motion for the town clerk's account of 1005 for $333,800.
Seconded, Russ.
Thank you. And I wanted to mention, I didn't know if the town clerk had seen that Representative Rusk had joined us.
We were
So
voting beginning.
I'm sorry,
We
I see Representative Rusk, so Jason's here too?
Yes,
Yes,
we're both here.
We both brought it
Excellent.
up. Roll call.
Okay, now we're at 34.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have account 1005, town clerk. A motion has been made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jill Rusk, in the amount of $333,800. Representative Fortner?
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. I was wondering if, is the conveyance tax, is that receipts from real estate sales? Is that what?
Yeah, conveyance fees are anytime a property is conveyed from one person to another. So yeah, that's a change in the deed. It could be from your spouse to your spouse, and that would still have conveyance. You see, there's a fee to the state and a fee to the town.
Okay, So that could potentially be even higher, potentially.
Oh, we're not finished with the year. Our fiscal year runs through the end of June.
Right. All right, that answers my question. I was just wondering. I also just would like to say that this 2019 was actually 2020 was a very challenging year, and I think that the town clerk and her staff did a phenomenal job throughout the entire process, which must have been extremely trying.
Well,
And
your husband was there nearly every day, so thank you.
yeah, well, kept him busy. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, but it just went much more smoothly than I ever could have thought, and I really appreciate it. So thank you very much, Betsy. I'm done.
Thank you, Representative Fortner. And I would second that. A pandemic and a few other things. So let's see. Anyone else? Representative Casper?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I would just like to point out to everyone that this department makes money for the town and returns money to the general fund above and beyond the expenses of the department, as noted on the bottom of page 64.
Thank you. Everyone can look at that financing.
I might just tell you that that's not a true number. We actually put back a lot more than that. It just shows you that we do pay for ourselves. It's over $1 million we're putting in.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. Seeing no question, no more hands up. It's for account 1005, town clerk, for $333,800, made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jill Rusk. All in favor of that number, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay. The next account is 1011, Information Technology, on page 74. Representative Flax moved to approve $1,102,733, seconded by Representative Casper. Discussion. IT manager, Mr. Hancock, stated that the overall increase of $32,172 is due to personnel and operations, $12,000 personnel increase due to contractual agreements, and $20,172 operation increase, plus 3 new maintenance contracts coming due. First new software system is called Charity Tracker for $3,240.
Yes, I'm trying to get a part for a
Representative Merritt, could you please mute yourself? Oh, continue, please.
Okay. The first new software system is called Charity Tracker for $3,240 to be used by the Human Services Department to track families, children, keep logs, and etc. The second is called Arcade Social, and that's for $5,075, used for FOI and town social media site. The third is the new web page. That costs $5,900. About 35 to 40 other contracts make up the difference. Contracts are for software licensing and updates. All software, phone systems, and communication lines have maintenance contracts. Representative Katowski moved an amendment in the amount of $1,070,561, seconded by Representative Chase. Representative Katowski stated that this is the 2021 suggested number. She stated that we should be aware of spending and watch out for taxpayers. Town Manager Burt responded that there is not much to cut in this budget. It includes items that the town needs. He stated that you cannot cut contractual increases. Town Manager Burt stated that there would probably be a need for a fourth quarter transfer if this account was cut. Representative Katowski stated again that the RTM has no fiscal power to make fiscal decisions. So what is the point? Town Manager Burt stated that there is no fat in any department's budget. He is contractually bound by these increases. The IT department staff has already been cut. The RTM and town council have two different fiduciary powers. The town could not function without the staff in IT. Representative Foster stated that it doesn't make sense to cut IT. IT helps to increase efficiency of the town government. Representative Chase asked about salary ranges. Town Manager Burt stated that salary contracts are usually good for 3 years. When negotiating, we compare salaries ranges in other towns. Representative Casper stated that the town, when setting salaries, is not only competing with other towns, but with industries all around who are looking for personnel. No further discussion. The vote on the amended motion of $1,070,561 failed with 1 in favor, Representative Katowski, and 6 opposed, Representative Flax, Foster, Chase, Washington, Powers, and Casper. The vote on the main motion of $1,102,733 passed with 6 in favor, Representatives Casper, Flax, Chase, Foster, Powers, and Washington, and 1 opposed, Representative Katowski. So I make a motion for account number
1011.
1011 in the amount of $1,102,733.
Second.
I think that was Representative Jones who seconded.
Yes.
So we have a motion on the floor for count 1011, which is information technology, made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jones, in the amount of $1,102,733. And I had a quick question. Maybe someone can answer this. One of the packages that you mentioned, Chair Washington, was Charity Tracker software. And I'm just curious why the town needs Charity Tracker software.
Brian Hancock, Manager of IT.
Thank you, Mr. Hancock.
The Charity Tracker is actually a software for human services, for tracking services that we have over there. Up until recently, they have been using a SQL program that was written well over 20 years ago. So the need came up for better tracking because they were typing documents in Word, put them still in a filing cabinet. So now we're trying to get that all integrated for them.
And which department is that? Social Services?
Human Services, yes.
Human Services, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Representative Richards?
Thank you, Moderator Evan. I just have a question, really asking just for some information about the wireless access points that are mentioned here. It says that installation has been completed at the Groton Community Center, and there are some remaining locations: animal control, parks and rec, transfer stations, and parks maintenance. I'm just wondering where besides the Groton Community Center has already been equipped with wireless access, and what kind of timeline or plan you have for these other areas.
The wireless access has been put in the town hall. The library has their own. Groton Senior Center.
I'm on Zoom with the R.T.M, but I can.
Please mute yourself if you're not talking. Sorry.
Groton Senior Center, Human Services, the Annex, the Highway Garage, the police station, public safety, town hall annex, and I think that's as far as we made it so far.
That helps to understand where you are at. Do you have an idea of when the rest will be completed?
Well, we do have to work with building maintenance because we do need network cables run to the specific location. So it's like a coordinated effort. We try to work with building maintenance to do a building at a time. So.
Thank you for the update.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion on the floor for account 1011, information technology, in the amount of $1,102,733 made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jones. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Okay. The next account is number 6050, technology replacement, on page 79. Representative Forster made a motion to move $69,340, seconded by Representative Powers. Discussion. Mr. Hancock stated that this account is down $20,800 from last year. This account funds replacement and repairs to equipment as needed. Equipment includes PCs, laptops, monitors, scanners, etc. Representative Forster asked if any grant money was available for hardware, and Mr. Hancock responded that he has not seen any grant money out there for this purpose. Vote to approve $69,340 was approved unanimously. So I make a motion for account number 6050, technology replacement, for $69,340.
Second.
Was that Representative Jacome?
Yes. Yes.
So we have a motion on the floor for account 6050, technology replacement, made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jacome, in the amount of $69,340. Is there any discussion or questions? Mr. Hancock, I'll just ask a quick one just to, I see there was, kind of a decrease from in this year from last year. Is that because of COVID? Was that stated?
No, this is, I do a long-term schedule of replacement, a 5-year cycle for desktops, 6 for PCs, 10 years for printers, MDTs for the police department, and some other peripheral equipment out there for PCs. And I schedule them out over multiple years. And so we do like level funding. And I know what my schedule is looking, 3 years out, I know what I'm going to be replacing.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion on the floor for account 6050 in the amount of $69,340 made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jacome. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, the next account is CIP 7A, information technology infrastructure, on page 233. A motion to approve FYE 2022 for $206,000 was made by Representative Powers, seconded by Representative Chase. Mr. Hancock stated that this CIP is for replacing the critical core data center infrastructure to the town's network. We are scheduling to replace the 2 core network switches at Town Hall and Police Department. Both switches are over 10 years old. We are scheduling to replace the server, blade, / enclosures. This equipment is hosting all the town's virtual servers, roughly 40 servers total. This equipment is over 10 years old. ArcMail email data retention system is coming to end of support and end of life and needs replacing. This system is used for email recovery and FOI processing. Failure of any one of the switches or blades / enclosures would bring the network down for a substantial amount of time. COVID money cannot be used to pay for this. The vote to approve $206,000 passed with 6 in favor, Representative Flax, Casper, Foster, Chase, Powers, and Washington, and 1 opposed, Representative Katowski. So I make a motion to approve $206,000 for CIP 7A, Information Technology Infrastructure.
Representative Rusk.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor for CIP 7A, Information Technology, in the amount of $206,000, made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jill Rusk. Representative Jones?
Yes, my question is, can you tell us the difference between the technology replacement we just voted on and this technology that we're also replacing? What is the difference and why do you divide it in 2 different categories?
You're doing the computer replacement fund, and in this one, when we first started the computer replacement fund, we had this, and they told us to split it out. God, it had to been 10, 15 years ago, because of the large substantial costs of the CIP projects. I mean, over the course of so many years, it's well over $1 million. But we also throw some money in through fund balance back into a fund for the computer replacement fund. So we try to keep it as a self-funding level funding project versus CIP, which could be all over the place.
So some of it is basically the difference in sort of its basic cost. Some things are just less and some things are just dramatic.
Yeah. Like in the computer replacement fund, we can do it within the budget system where the, $206,000 funding to try to get it through just the general budget would be horrible. CIP is probably the best place for it.
And just a general question, do you have a sense of how much the town has invested in technology equipment? Just sort of a general, I know it's all different years and there's appreciation, but do you have sort of a kind of a number on what that is?
Investment in equipment, hardware and software, or just hardware?
Yeah, hardware, I guess.
Well, just hardware probably probably close to $500,000 to $750,000.
Okay.
Roughly, without really researching it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. And software, what would that be?
Oh, that would be millions.
Okay.
Because you got the purchase price versus the annual software maintenance that we've been carrying for many years.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And just to clarify, Representative Jones, I believe it's items that exceed or $25,000 or more go in capital improvement budget versus smaller budget items can go in the other part of the budget.
The regular
so.
budget. Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Any other questions on this account? If not, we have a motion on the floor for CIP 7A Information Technology in the amount of $206,000 made by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Jill Rusk. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, you'd be happy to know that this is my last account for tonight. And that is CIP 7C, Enterprise Information Management System, on acquisition on page 234. A motion to approve $380,000 was made by Representative Foster, seconded by Representative Flax. Discussion. Current software is 10 years out of date. John Reiner told the committee that this is a multi-year project, and this is the next phase for EIMS, which stands for Enterprise Information Management System implementation for land management. This would be integrated with the town's financial system. The modules would include planning, permitting, inspections, code enforcement, and mobile access. This will be replacing the current Info Hansen software in the planning department that is 10 years out of date. Due to the $1 million cost of upgrading the software to the most current version. John Reiner stated that he is not asking for additional staff this year, 2022, or next year, 2023. So let's remember that for Mr. Reiner. No additional staff next year or this year. Motion to approve $380,000 passed with 6 in favor. Representatives Flax, Casper, Chase, Foster, Powers, and Washington, and 1 opposed, Representative Katowski. So I make a motion to approve $380,000 for CIP 7C, Enterprise Information Management System acquisition.
Second, Chase.
We have a motion that's been made and approved by Representative Washington, seconded by Representative Chase for CIP 7C Enterprise Information Management System in the amount of $380,000. Is there any discussion? Representative Fortner?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So I'm a bit of a neophyte when it comes to computer. I know what a computer is, the hardware part. I know what the software part is. Between the last CIP for $206,000 for a safety network core switches, and now this for $380,000, it's just is shockingly expensive. I'm assuming that there's absolutely nothing else to be done other than buy this. I mean, I'm sure this is what they need to, it's just like an accountant. They have to have updated software in order to do their job. But that is a phenomenal amount of money. Is there anybody here who could explain that to me a little bit?
Mr. Hancock?
Well, the $380,000 cost is the cost for acquiring the software. There's a little bit of server setup. There is an implementation that would have to go through it, whether we extract all the data out of our current system and bring it over. But it does take some time, and the cost does seem extreme, but we are currently using a 10-year plus system that has not been updated. And the current system to upgrade planning to the most current version is well over $1 million just for that software. So this is part of a multi-year plan that we've been using to try to integrate most of our softwares and not have these silos out there. So
Okay, so in actuality, I think it said in the minutes that this was 10 years out of date, but in actuality, it's 10 years old.
it's no, the last software update to the Infor system has been over 10 years.
So
because we could never afford the $1 million to bring it up to par.
Okay, and then how often does this occur that you have to update or get a new software system or whatever?
I would say if the company stays current on their software, you can probably keep the software for 10 to 12 to 15 years.
So you buy it and then you pay for an update each year?
You pay software maintenance, annual software maintenance on it.
Okay. Wow. So I guess I know now why everybody's so wealthy in the Silicon Valley. Okay, thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, I had a question, as ex officio question. Does, so this software, will this allow all the planning permitting to be done online with credit cards into the Munis system? Is that what I'm understanding? Into our financial system?
It has the capability of the credit cards once we figure out what we're going to do with the credit cards, but it also has the online capabilities too.
Wow, that's going to be great.
And also, what also has a great part is the mobile. So when the inspectors are out in the field, they can actually have a tablet and communicate with the system in real time.
Now remember, this is a multi-year project, so at the very end, Cindy, it's going to cost us over $1 million for this project.
I noticed that. That's why I'm having a hard time swallowing for a minute. I find myself wondering, like, what other little towns, not little towns, what other small towns do to, if they can't afford this, do they just, I guess maybe they use paper? I'm not sure, like how, I would assume that there's many towns who just aren't able to afford this kind of outlay of cash.
There's many towns in the surrounding areas that actually use the Tyler Munis software.
Mr. Hancock, have you tried to get any grants for this project?
I did not. I didn't think there was any grants out for acquiring software.
There's typically not grants for those type of things. I think another key thing, and John Reiner's on here could answer it, but part of that being out in the field, you could actually enter your information directly rather than doing it twice. The hope is, as they're extremely busy now and growing, and the hope is to avoid having to get another clerk in the near future too. So that's another added benefit, but it is something we really need to operate. I did have a question for Brian on the Board of E1. Is the Board of Ed 1 in 24? Is that for sure going? I thought that was in question. Am I wrong on that?
That's in question.
Yeah, I'm not sure that 400,000 is going to go in. They didn't go in the direction we thought they would go in.
Yeah, it was a plan.
Yeah, so it might be 400,000 less than this shows.
Yeah.
Oh, Cindy will be happy with that.
Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I am the first one to say I don't like spending my own money, let alone anyone else's. But I just want to let you know that for the time that I've been on the R.T.M, CIPs are always cut. And because it's the easiest to cut because nobody wants to spend money, and I totally agree with that. But you have to remember, we have an infrastructure here in the town that we have to keep up. And if you don't keep it up, it's going to cost more in the long run. So I totally agree with Representative Fortner that it's expensive, but everything gets cut from the CIPs every year. And somewhere along the line, we have to stop doing that. And trust me when I tell you, I don't want to spend money either, but It's like your own home. You have to keep up your own home so it doesn't fall down. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we have a motion on the floor for $380,000, which is CIP 7C Enterprise Information Management System, made by Representative Washington and seconded by Representative Chase. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Representative Flax is here, so now you have 34 members.
35, I think you said, because we had
I
two
recounted
flusts.
everybody and it's 34.
Okay, thank you.
Moderator Eben, can I say one thing?
Please.
Okay, I'd just like to thank the town clerk, Betsy McAllister, town manager, John Burt, Mr. Hancock, Cindy Landry, and John Reiner, and all the committee members on finance for coming to the meetings. I mean, they're not short meetings, so, and I appreciate their input and I appreciate their time, because it takes a team to get this going and they're getting this stuff approved. So I'd just like to give everybody a big shout out.
Thank you. The next item is account 1001, legislative policy. You'll find it on page 57. Representative Perry? Oh, no. Sorry, that's my little hand. Representative Washington, you want to continue with your minutes?
This isn't her committee?
Oh,
This
okay. This is Representative Gauthier.
There you go.
All right, Representative Gauthier?
I got nervous for a minute.
Sorry, my bad. Representative Gauthier, you're on mute if you are trying to speak. There was some confusion.
She was out, now she's coming back in.
Oh, okay.
Hi, sorry, I went to hit unmute and then it hit exit out. So I panicked a little bit. Yes, so account 1001 legislative policy, Representative Rusk motioned an amount of $38,200, seconded by Bailey. Discussion, Representative Gauthier asked what metrics were used by CCM for utilization of services by the town. Town manager Burt said that he would find out and return a response. From there, we voted and it was a unanimous vote in favor, 7-0 in favor of that amount.
Thank you. Could you tell us the date of your meeting and also just who was at it? Because it's official
Sorry.
minutes, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, our meeting was Wednesday, April 28th at 6:30 p.m. In attendance were Representative Baker, Representative Bailey, Representative Kopp, Representative Hainline, Representative Hanscom, Representative Rusk, and myself, Representative Gauthier, Lauren Gauthier.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. I tried to make it, but it was at the same time as public safety, I think.
Yes.
So, is there a motion that you'd like to put on the floor?
I'd like to put out a motion for $38,200.
Second, Adams.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor for account 1001 legislative policy in the amount of $38,200 made by Representative Lauren Gauthier and seconded by Representative Adams. Representative Rusk?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make a point of clarification that it was Representative Jason Rusk on that committee.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
Yes, Representative Jason Rusk was with us.
Anyone wish to speak, ask a question, discuss? Representative Fortner?
I just wanted to say that we do a lot for a very little pay amount on that line number. So I'm just going to give us all a pat on the back for it. Thank you.
I had a question. I guess I will ask. For the Jabez Smith House, I see that there is a line item here for that of 1850, which is I guess it's less than it was voted on for last FY, but quite a bit more than it was in 2020. I just was curious what the status of a caretaker or what's happening with that house. Is it open to the public? Is there a plan to get a caretaker? Sorry.
We actually found out the caretaker thing has gotten very complicated with IRS rules. You can't just have someone stay there for free. They're basically an employee. You have to figure out a salary. You have to account for how much they should be paying for rent if they're staying there. It's a whole lot. We can't do it the old way. So it's come up a couple times. It's something I'd like to figure out whether, ideally to me, it would maybe move under Parks and Rec eventually. But in the meantime, we're maintaining it, fuel oil, to heat the place, that type of thing.
Is it open for the public?
Not at this point, not without a caretaker.
So that we're just paying this just to have this old house sit there?
Which we're required to maintain it by the deed. Yeah.
I just want to put a shout out for the previous caretaker, and I understand that this is an issue, but he was wonderful and welcomed my classes from UConn Avery Point there and had a garden, and it was really a remarkable learning experience for them. He was a really great individual. Mike, I think his name was.
It's neat.
So it would be great if that could become another asset for the town at some point. Representative Washington?
I see that professional development and training is the majority of your budget. Could you explain what exactly you're doing for professional development and training?
It's actually the town council's membership or the town's membership in the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. That's the yearly fee based on population. Every single municipality in Connecticut's part of them. They advocate for the towns and cities in Hartford for legislation. They do tons of trainings. Like they must put on at least a training a week, and it's been great during Zoom time because you can do remote and not have to go to it. They take requests to do research for towns. I use that quite often myself. Like if I wanted to know what's the average pay for HR directors or police chiefs, they'll go out to other towns. If they don't already have the data or it's not up to date, they'll go out and do the research for us. So they're very handy.
Is the training for town council and employees? And can the R.T.M participate in any of the trainings?
Yeah, if you went through Lisa, you could. A lot of it's drier stuff. But yeah, I just went to an updated Freedom of Information Act one the other day, which was interesting because they actually have some of the rules during the executive orders for the pandemic. So it's kind of interesting how that interplays with the Freedom of Information Act. But yes, it is something that council members or R.T.M members could sign up for.
And how do we find out about the trainings? Is there a website we can go to?
Yeah, and I'll make a note and send that to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll write a note for that right now.
That would be a great opportunity for some members who may want to hone their skills on FOIA. Or Representative Fortner?
Hi, thank you, Madam Moderator. Going back to the Jabez Smith House, do you think, John, I'm sure there are other programs that have like artists in residence or writers in residence. Would that be this different or just the same?
If they're staying there, then it would be the same, especially for government. And we actually called a bunch of places, and some weren't aware of the rules, some were aware and doing it anyhow. But what we can't do is knowingly break the IRS rules.
Right.
But,
all right. Okay.
But yeah,
so we've already considered that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we did quite a bit of research on it. I'm very interested in doing something with this building. I hate to see it doing nothing. Like I said, ideally, to me, at worst case, if we can't have a caretaker, it'd be nice to have it under something like Parks and Rec open once in a while, something like that. So it's something we've talked about here and there, but it is on my agenda to look further into.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, kind of moving on that, I mean, when the last caretaker, was his name Mike Fitzgerald?
It was gone before I got here, so I'm not
Well,
sure.
I think that might have been his name anyway. He had an amazing garden with the three sisters, and it was, you know, just seems like maybe, I don't know if the town could maybe get an arrangement with Fitch High School or Grasso Tech to have students, you know, maybe maintain the garden as part of
a
a
good idea.
project. I just, you know, found it to be a really great teaching resource at the time. So,
Good idea.
You know, anyway, thank you. All right. Any other?
Even the middle school might be able to do that because
Yeah.
I remember. I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Because even West Side one time had a garden in the middle of their courtyard. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I know with the, you know, the community garden, I mean, this was a little different because it was a historical garden, but it was really, really nice. I thought there was a lot of value from that area. So anyway, thank you. We do have a motion on the floor, and I don't see any other members with their hands raised to speak. This is account 1001, legislative policy, in the amount of $38,200. The motion was made by Representative Lauren Gauthier and Representative Adams. All in favor of that number, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda is account 1010, executive management, and I believe you'll find that on page 70. Chair Gauthier, would you like to continue?
Yes, thank you. So for account 1006, legal services.
I think executive management comes before that.
Sorry, 1010, executive
1010.
management. Yeah.
1010.
Okay, let me just make sure I'm on the right page then.
Page 70.
Yes, thank you. Account 1010, executive management. So Representative Baker motioned for $318,000, seconded by Bailey. Discussion. Representative Gauthier asked if attendance at meetings was part of the salary or was an added kind of compensation, and Town Manager Burt responded that it was part of the salary for those who attended, the staff that attended, namely himself. And thank you, Manager Burt, for attending all of these meetings and all of the work that you do. From there, it was a unanimous vote for $318,000. So I'd like to put a motion on the floor to the full R.T.M. for $318,000 for account 1010, executive management.
Seconded.
Yes. Who was seconded? Was that Rusk?
Yes, please.
We have a motion on the floor for account 1010, executive management, in the amount of $318,000. It was made by Representative Lauren Gauthier and seconded, I believe, by Representative Joe Rusk. Our duo of doubles. Are there any discussion on this item? Representative Richards?
Thank you, Moderator Evan. I just wanted to know if I recall correctly from the discussion of this with the town council that the number is up a bit, about 4,000, because of personnel and operating expenses, mostly Social Security, if I remember correctly. Is that true?
It is up. Yeah, it is up some wage increases, you know, benefits, but also I had cut out some of the funding. Going into the pandemic last year, I reduced the funding for trainings and things. Hopefully that's up some. So I'm hoping that'll come back this year. So we'll see, conferences and trainings, that type of thing.
So does that mean that this number is reflective of what you hope the professional development will be?
Correct.
Could you just explain a little bit about the change from on page 71, the adjusted financial year 2021 to the estimate 2021? It looks like it went up about 5,000. I just wonder what that was.
Sorry, which cost center again?
And 100? Leadership and general support?
I was looking at the total, actually, the cost centers went up from the adjusted 2021 to the estimate 2021.
I don't have a breakdown by cost center. I can find it out. I'm sure part of it is wages and that sort of thing, but I'd have to look at, I think also in there is the training would be in there. Like, I'm trying to think, memberships went up some during the, we're a little higher than I expected. For instance, I am a certified manager with the ICMA, the International County City Management Association, I think, but some things like that, you never quite know what they're going to go up to from year to year. So some of that is an increase too during the year.
I see what you mean by the cost centers. It looks like most of it is in 100 leadership general support.
Right.
Maybe that's what you're referring to then.
Right. And I don't really break out my time by, it's sort of, to me, it's really kind of all, obviously the budget thing is one thing, but the rest is sort of mixed in.
Okay.
I was curious. I just had a quick question kind of following on Representative Richards, which is on the 5210 account, professional development and training. The adjusted was 10,500, but the estimated cost for that was 14,500. And I would have thought that professional development would have, what?
It won't be that high. I think that was carried over just as as what was going to originally be the requested amount that year. It's not going to be that high once it's done. Once you see the actual, that estimate's a bit high. There will be a savings.
Isn't the estimate the actual?
No, the estimate is done back in turn of the year, where you think you're going to be based on what you're seeing.
Okay.
So, so the actual is when you actually complete the year and when you're all the way done through the budget year. So the next year's budget, you'll see what was actually spent at the end year-end close.
And you expect that COVID will have decreased that amount?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Representative Washington?
No, I found the answer to my question. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, seeing no other hands, we do have account 1010 on the floor, executive management in the amount of $318,000. Motion made by Representative Lauren Gauthier, seconded by Representative Joe Rusk. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. The next item is 1006, legal services, and that one is on page 67. Chair Gauthier, would you like to carry us away with your minutes?
Yes, thank you. Account 1006, legal services, a motion was put on the floor by Representative Jason Rusk in the amount of $297,500, seconded by Representative Bailey. Discussion, Representative Hanscom asked if this attorney's fee covered the city of Groton as well. Town Manager Burt responded, no, the city pays for their own attorney. Representative Gauthier asked if the attorney's fees were a retainer or flat or, time billed, and if it included late night texts about R.T.M items. The town manager responded that the cost was not a retainer fee and that we do get charged for certain inquiries, but we don't always get charged necessarily. Town manager did note that the town has solicited bids for these services and this firm was by far the lowest cost that came in. We moved the number and it was voted on or approved unanimously by the committee. So I'd like to submit to the R.T.M a motion for $297,500.
Is there a second?
Second, Top.
So we have a motion on the floor for account 1006 legal services in the amount of $297,500, made by Representative Lauren Gothier and seconded by Representative Kopp. Is there any discussion on this? Legal services. Representative Washington? Representative Washington?
What would be an example, Mr. Burt, of miscellaneous litigation?
If we had a conflict of interest for something where for some reason they had another client that we had something going on with, we had to bring it, if we had to bring an outside attorney, it happens now and then. If you needed a second opinion on something, there's a variety of reasons. We don't put much in there, but it's been used here and there. But it's just kind of an in case.
How long have we had the same town attorney?
Quite a while. Of course, it's not always been Eileen because it was different people. The firm has been here a long, long time. Eileen,
I'd say 38 plus years.
Okay. And pretty much every time a new council comes in, they go out and look at who else is out there. Our hourly fee, they've kept our hourly fee really low. We only pay about $140 an hour. Whereas when I have had to have anybody else do anything at other firms, it's not uncommon to get $400, $450. So we're getting a heck of a deal, and I think they're excellent.
Yes, that's true. Because I just wanted to get a lawyer to look over a will I already had, and they want like $325, $340 an hour.
Yeah. We would basically, if we switch firms, we'd pay double to triple what we're paying. I should mention on the $60,000 for the general support, much of that is the tax foreclosure items, which eventually are reimbursable, through, liens on the property when collections.
Thank you. Representative Powers?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. John, quick question. Is this enough in that fund? Do we foresee any, problems legally with some of the projects that are going forward? Or do we see anything in the future that, with reassessment of properties that we may need more money in that fund? And
There's a couple items that are under the reval fund for attorney fees. There's often court cases going on. There's always something, happening. But a lot of it's for attorney negotiations and other things. I'm not expecting anything unusual. Just the typical yearly stuff.
Thank you.
Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So my notes here from the town council meeting says, just like you said, the general support is for tax foreclosures. So that's for legal fees for filing foreclosures.
Right. Doing the research on things and filing.
Right. And so once that's gone through, we get reimbursed that money.
Eventually, yes.
So do we not have some kind of fund already set aside for this or no?
No, it goes back into the general fund.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I had a question about the miscellaneous. So it looks like in 2020, nothing was spent. Was anything budgeted?
What sometimes happens is it doesn't always get, sometimes I'll pass on a bill or someone will pass on a bill for another attorney. It doesn't always get coded correctly, honestly. It sometimes just gets lumped under town attorney. There's almost always at least a couple outside things going on each year.
Is it always budgeted at 10,000?
Yes. And then when you see actual, that's what the end result was for what showed up in that line item. Like I said, it's not always reflective of, doesn't always get coded right. We're trying to be more accurate on that.
And what would happen if that 10,000 were cut?
We would probably need it somewhere. You'd probably just move it up into because there have been times that money's been asked over the budget. This is what we see. And as you see, we weren't that much under in 20, but there have been times that it's been over.
When in 20, it looks like 0 was spent, right? Am I reading that correctly for
No, but
miscellaneous
I was at
litigation?
271,000 overall. Again, we did spend some there, I'm sure, but I just don't think I just don't think it showed up in there.
Yeah, I was only looking at that line item of
Yeah.
miscellaneous litigation.
Yeah. I think it just went into the town attorney.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? And so let me just, so if that's not spent, then I guess it's just rolled back into the general fund, that
Correct.
allocation.
Yeah, just go back to the general fund.
All right, seeing no more questions, we do have a motion on the floor for account 1006 legal services in the amount of $297,500 made by Representative Lauren Gauthier, seconded by Representative Kopp. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And I think we're on our last item, which is interesting. So account 1092 Fire Districts Pilot. I believe you'll find this on page 186. Representative Chair Gauthier.
Thank you. I'm just going to that page now. Account, sorry, just want to make sure I have it in front of me. 1086, right? Sorry, 1092. That's what we need. That's why I'm not finding it.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
1092.
So 1092. We went in a different order in our meeting, so just bear with me a moment while I scroll through here. There we go. Account 1092, the Fire District Pilot Payment in lieu of taxes. There was a motion made by Representative Jason Rusk in the amount of $246,000, seconded by Representative Baker. As far as discussion went, Representative Gauthier asked why a reformulation hasn't been done recently, and if the town was planning on doing a reformulation soon. Town manager said that at various times they've looked at it and that they may be doing a reformulation, considering the different developments happening in town. It's difficult because there will be winners and losers as the numbers change, and of course everyone would just prefer to have their numbers go up. That may not be the case. So we voted on the motion. It was unanimous. And I'd like to submit to the R.T.M. a motion for $246,000 for account 1092, the Fire District Pilot.
There a second?
Second, Chase.
We have a motion on the floor for $246,000 for account 1092 Fire District Pilot, made by Representative Lauren Gauthier, and seconded by Representative Chase. Is there any discussion on this? Anyone need an explanation of what this means? Representative Fortner? Representative Fortner, you're on mute.
I'm very sorry. So it just depends on the number of people that are covered in the district, because there's a huge difference, obviously, in the amount that each district or each fire district gets. So am I assuming that the Paquonic Bridge Fire District covers a lot more area?
They have
No.
It's about the commercial. It's really about the non-taxable property. They have a huge amount of non-taxable property in Quantic Bridge.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Representative Casper?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So I would assume that the oral school property, once it's sold, will diminish for one of these fire districts?
Yeah, they'll actually get tax dollars. Well, it depends if you redo it. This has been flat in the same amounts for probably 10 years, if not more. So when it gets readjusted, yes, it would change that number, I'm sure. And we have gone through a few times of looking at the numbers.
Thank you.
Representative Washington?
That was part of my question, John. I noticed that it's been flat for quite a long time. And why is that?
Again, every time this has got, even before I got here, they repeatedly looked at this and no one could agree on, no one wanted to see the winners and losers scenario. People couldn't agree on amounts. And sometimes the people think they're going to get more and they don't. And every time it's gotten complicated and no one's wanted to pursue it.
So you just keep it flat and then everybody's happy?
Yeah, well, they'd like more money. They'd all like to have more money, I'm sure, but but
Thank
don't,
you.
I would too.
Any other questions? Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I don't know if this is going to be a silly question or not, but we as taxpayers pay a fire district tax when we pay our taxes, right? And that money goes directly to each, whatever fire district you live in.
Right.
And that helps them run the fire departments.
Yes.
So that's exactly what this money is for.
Right.
Correct?
So for the places that are not collecting that tax, this makes up for it, helps to make up for it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
And of course, we also have non-taxable land too, which I always point out to the fire departments too. We have a lot of it.
Representative Gauthier?
Yes. Do these numbers reflect the whole amount missing or just a percentage of the payments that are lost because these properties are non-taxable?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Sure. So these payments that are being made in lieu of the taxes, is this the full amount that each of these districts would be missing, and then the state and the town is making up for that, or is this just a percentage of what they're missing and there's still a gap?
There's definitely a gap. Just like we have there's a lot of non-taxable land, like from the state that we get some pilot dollars from, but it doesn't make up for it. And the state's reduced those pilot dollars repeatedly over the years.
Thank you.
Representative Washington?
John, is this like impact aid that the Board of Education receives from the federal government? Is it that we pay the fire districts? Is that
it's kind of a similar vein.
Okay. Thank you.
Representative Jones?
Yes, John, if this money is in lieu of money from real estate taxes, approximately how much money do we pay the fire districts in total?
Well, this is the total for you see 121,000 of it is for state properties and 125,000 is for town-owned properties to them.
So how much of our tax dollars in our tax bill, some money goes to our districts? How much is that money?
Well, each district is different. They each have different mill rates, and so depending on where you live, it all goes directly to them.
But
we don't we don't dictate. That all goes direct. All those funds go to them.
So is there sort of a total amount that all of the town is paying to all of the fire?
I'm sure that finance could run that.
Just so we know.
I can have that run if you're interested.
Yeah, just what percentage this number is of the total amount of money that goes to our fires.
Sure.
Team. Okay. Thank you.
Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So if we pay taxes and then we have this separate, why do you separate it out? I mean, not that I want to pay, well, I'm paying the same amount really because it's separate, but
this is all because they can't build those properties.
Well, I understand that, but why do we separate it out? Why don't you, and I shouldn't complain because I'm in the biggest tax district for fire anyway, but why do you have this separate? Why can't you just roll it into our mill rate that we pay? You know what I'm saying?
For everybody, you mean, or we can't do it by district. It'd be hard but what they're trying to do is avoid increasing their fire district mill rates.
Okay.
They kind of like they don't, they want to avoid, like Quantum Bridge would like more money so they don't have to increase their mill rate.
But isn't it
And we
6
do,
one, half a dozen of the other? I
well,
mean,
we do get pilot dollars from the state though, so a portion of it goes to them. Not that it's required, but we do give them a portion. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's any number of ways we could do this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you.
Madam Clerk, did you want to speak?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I have always thought that this is money that the state gives the towns to pay the fire districts in lieu of taxes. It's not, am I off my nut here?
It's for,
It
it's,
was supposed to be, excuse me, it was supposed to be 100% of all those properties like schools and town hall and all those government offices. The state originally was giving 100% to towns, and it whittled down to what is it, like 35%, something like that.
something like
Isn't
that,
this-
yeah.
Isn't that this money came from the state and we're supposed to allocate it?
Well, we're not required to allocate. No, it's for the town for our lost monies, and then we agreed to give them some of it.
There you go. Okay.
I'm kind of confused now with the town clerk's comments.
Me too. So it sounds like that, so we are not paying this money, it's coming from the state, this 246,000.
Well, technically 121,000 because we, because that 125 is in lieu of of the town. However, we do get more than that 121,000. I'm just saying technically it's not out of that same pot, but yeah, the town gets, I don't know offhand how much we get each year. I think maybe $1 million, somewhere in that range. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong on that. Originally, that probably is, the town clerk's probably right. It's probably around, it did start at 100%. We were supposed to get all the money, and there was a bill introduced this year to start giving towns the full amount they owed, which isn't going to go anywhere. But every year they keep reducing it as they do a lot of the grants. And even though we've been getting our total amount reduced, we've never reduced the amounts to the fire districts, which we're not required to pay them, but we don't want, we continue to help them.
Can I ask why the financing plan doesn't indicate that half of this is state money?
It does. If you look under page 186 breaks out the two types.
Yeah, but on page 187 where it says financing plan, it just says general fund.
It goes, that money goes into the general fund when we receive it though, and then we take it out for this purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Representative Washington?
I was surprised, John, to see the city of Groton included in this account. Why is that? They don't pay for their own fire department?
They don't get a direct allocation. They do pay for the fire department, but same as everyone else, they have a mill rate just like all the other fire districts. The town gets the, we're the eligible municipality. We're the ones that get pilot dollars. The city is not a recognized municipality in terms of most of those types of things, so they don't receive any direct funding for untaxable land, whereas the town does, and they're treated just like any other fire district because they're missing out on untaxable land also.
Thank you.
Is the calculation based on the amount of untaxable land then? Is it the assessment?
Originally it was, yeah,
Okay.
Other than you see in that you see in that thing it says all 7 get a first $1,000 base payment, and then they break it out, which is, I guess they wanted to make sure everyone got at least $1,000.
All right, seeing no more hands raised, I guess we have a motion on the floor for account 1092, which is a fire district pilot in the amount of $246,000 made by Representative Lauren Gothier and seconded by Representative Chase. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion passes unanimously. And so we come to the end of our agenda for this evening, and I would entertain a motion to recess.
Gothier, motion to recess.
Second.
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 All right, we have a motion on the floor to recess made by Representative Lauren Gothier and seconded by Representative Adams. All in favor of recessing until Monday, May 3rd at 7 p.m., please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? I guess we are in recess. So thank you all for our first toe dip into the pool of budget.